This is a football show. Mark's with me. We're going through the talking points from the weekend. I'm going to be quite anarchic today, I think. I'm not going to go in order. We've already done Wolves. So I think we're going to go here next. Let's talk Newcastle, because we're a year on from the takeover. So what do the stats say about what's happened?
It's been an incredible start, hasn't it, this season? Only one defeat in the Premier League so far, and when you compare that to the way things were a year ago, very different story at Newcastle. Let's take a look at after 9 games last year, they hadn't won a match. They'd drawn 4, lost 5, they'd scored just 11 goals, they conceded 20, and then, of course, just 4 points on the board left them 19th in the Premier League. Compared to this year, it's a complete transition, isn't it? Won 3 matches, drawn 5, only lost 1, as I say. They've scored 17, they've conceded just 9. 14 points on the board means 6th so far in the Premier League. But Eddie Howe will be saying one thing and one thing only to the fan base and, of course, the team. Keep your feet on the ground, one game at a time. Let's be very boring, but let's just continue on this trajectory of really positive results and performances. Yeah,
10 points more, but it's those goals conceded that really sprung out there. What do you put this change around the club down to?
Well, I'm going to keep in with the theme of 5 points from the weekend. I've got 5 things as to why I think Newcastle are so much stronger this season than they were last season. I think, number 1, the togetherness and the unity that man has built. There's a togetherness with the team, with the backroom team, with the ownership and the fan base. So I think that's really important. I think, secondly, that connection he has built alongside the ownership to the fan base is vital, particularly for a club like Newcastle. The fans love him. He loves playing that team in front of those fans. He loves managing that football club. And there's a real feel-good factor and a togetherness around the whole thing. Point number 3, I think there's a real clear philosophy and style of football that Eddie Howe wants that Newcastle side to do. I think the players understand their remit. They understand their roles and responsibilities. And I think you're seeing some really exciting attacking football from Newcastle, which is what you saw when he was the Bournemouth manager. Point number 4, I think they've got their recruitment spot on. I think that's been vital, particularly for a club that has a lot of money to spend in the window. You've still got to spend it wisely. A scout once said to me, it's not about the players you sign, it's the ones that you don't sign that is the important part of recruitment, and they've got their recruitment so far absolutely spot on. And of course, number 5, this man and his backroom team. I think he's been absolutely superb. He took a team from Bournemouth from the bottom reaches of League 2 into the Premier League and kept them there for 5 years. He's clearly the real deal. He's a very, very astute coach as well, not just a very talented manager, but someone that wants to work with players on the training pitch. He wants to develop them and improve them. And you've seen that so far at Newcastle. So I think they're the 5 key reasons as to why Newcastle have been so positive so far this season.
OK, I want to pick up on one of them. That's recruitment. Why has that been so good?
I think they've got the right people in place. I think they've spent their money wisely. And I think when you look at all of the signings that they've made, they have all been effective in their own way. It started with Kieran Trippier. That was Eddie Howe's first signing, someone who'd won La Liga the season before, coming in from Atletico Madrid. He's been brilliant. Chris Wood was superb in becoming that foil and that striker that they needed at the time. Dan Burn, lifelong Newcastle fan, slotted right in at the back there perfectly with good levels of experience. Matt Targett the same. Bruno Guimaraes, I could sit and talk about him all day. He is having a fantastic campaign and, of course, been linked with Real Madrid as well. Sven Botman, Nick Pope, Alexander Isak, all these players have one thing in common: great characteristics, great characters, great personalities, and they're all buying into what Eddie Howe is doing at Newcastle, and that's pulling together a really tight, competitive squad that works for each other.
Yeah, and you talked about the coaching, that Miguel Almiron and his improvement, I guess, typifies that.